Comic book characters, hey, we all know they're protected by copyright, but how about all the things that are related to them? Are they all protected by copyright? Well, it takes us to this week's case. It involves a real man, lived in England. And Graham Jules was a fella that had written a book, and he called the book Zero to Superhero. And it was basically a business book that dealt with how to deal with certain aspects of business. But anyway, when he was getting ready to publish the book, he got a letter from both Marvel and DC Comics, two separate entities, that were telling him, you gotta cease and desist doing this. And they sent him what's generally referred to as a cease and desist order or letter that said, you gotta stop doing this or we're gonna take you to court. And he said, well, hang on a second, you know, what's going on? And they said, that's because the term superheroes is copyrighted and we own the copyright on it and you can't use it. He said, really? He said, but it's a language, I mean, it's a word that's in the language, everybody uses it. They said, nope, we're going to pursue this and we're going to take you to court if you don't stop using it. So he studied up on it. He was also a law student and he represented himself. And he looked at this and he said, you know what, I'm right. Because the law provides that if the word is in the language and is widely used, it's not subject to copyright, or the copyright may have been lost and it falls into the public domain. And that's absolutely correct. And we sometimes see that happen, and a lot of companies many times are very concerned about their trademark names, such as Xerox, Kleenex, etc., because if it is so widely used, then pretty soon they can no longer utilize that name as a copyright or trademarked name. Okay, well anyway, taking us back to Graham, he's there in England. They said, well, we really want to pursue this. And so he said, nope, I'm going to continue to use the word superhero in my business book title, and I'm going to move this forward. So he knew he was starting to make some progress when they agreed to pay him a small amount of money to simply change the name of his book. He said, no, I think I have a right to do this. And so he continued to move forward. The case was headed to court, but interestingly enough, before it ever got there, both Marvel and DC Comics said, okay, enough is enough. We're not going to pursue this any further. You can go ahead and use the term superhero. Okay. So what do we learn from this case? We learned something very important. The very important thing we learned is that a lot of terms are being copyrighted today, and a lot of people that own lots of intellectual property like Walt Disney and Marvel and DC Comics many times copyright things that are really in the general use. And when I say in the general use, we're talking about the language uses them all the time, like superhero. And as such, they're really not subject to copyright. And so if these guys are sending out cease and desist orders saying, hey, you, whoever you may be, can't use this term or use this logo or do something else, unless it is specific to them, well, they may not have a protected right. If it's a term, a logo that's in wide use and is recognized by everyone, is generally being used by everyone, then it's not copyrightable or it has fallen into the public domain. Point being that sometimes these guys will be more actual banter and bluff than they are actual substance. So in this instance, that in fact is what happened. Returning to Graham, he was very pleased about it, never got his day in court, but as he said, you know, I won. They backed off, and I beat them all. I beat all the superheroes. I beat X-Man, Iron Man, I beat Spiderman. I beat them all. I didn't get my cape, but I won. Okay, we bring you this case, we bring cases every week, so you understand how the law works. I'm David Allen.